Hey there, Internet. Keeve here, and welcome to the Cars and Keeve YouTube channel. And what do we have before you? This is the Comet 1700. This is the second pressure washer in our pursuit to understand the $600 to $800 price range when it comes to electric pressure washers. Mainly pressure washers, not necessarily designed for, but they are really good for detailing cars. There's two listings on Amazon. They're both the same product, one's $650, one's $675. So for that 650, you're getting an induction motor. You're getting a 3-piston axial pump. It does require maintenance, does require oil changes I believe they said 100 hours. And at 50 hours, they said to check. This one you have to take apart. 4 screws on the front, 2 big bolts in the back. The pump will come right out. But this pump does not have a drain plug and it does not have a fill plug. And you have to take everything apart to be able to pour the oil out and then put new oil in. It takes SAE 30 weight oil, non-detergent oil. I'll link it below. There is a video by Comet that shows you how to completely take it apart and change the oil as well. And the great thing about this, it has rebuild kits for the valves. It has O-ring gasket rebuild kits and all that kind of stuff. Not only are you getting a good motor and a good pump, you're getting all of this. There is a 70-foot hose with a built-in hose reel. Now this is not a great hose reel. It's all plastic and there is no tension, there's no drag. There is literally just spins. The hose is really good. It's a 1/4-inch hose, but it is braided. It's very flexible. It's a pretty dang good hose for out of the box. The reel is built around the connection, so you can't just easily go in there and change that out and put on your own hose. Now for an all-in solution for a lot of people, all of this is going to be more than enough. So you have a pretty decent gun, the pistol grip style, not a whole lot of extra cladding going on here, but it does have BSPP threading down here. So this hose has a swivel piece right here, and that swivels onto this connection, which is a very weird way to connect the hose. It comes with a turbo nozzle wand. This is hefty. This is in this holder right here. Everything's pretty cool. The one thing I don't like, it has an adjustable nozzle here at the end that doesn't allow you to change it. Really good construction, like I said, really heavy. Comes with a pressure spinning brush that I would never touch, but I guess we'll try it in the video. And it has a soap dispenser, a suds dispenser. This is definitely not a foam cannon. The opening is way too big. I can see right through it. It's a very weird bottle right here. It looks like a vase. It has a piece right here that you screw onto your wall to hold your gun, these attachments and all of that. It's also wall mountable, which is a very weird wall mount. It literally only has one screw hole on each side to be able to mount this to a wall, but it uses that kind of pinch leverage effect. And it has this orange piece right here. That is to where you hold it up, that unlocks it. So when you push this all the way in, that locks over this right here, holding the pressure washer on here. And these little orange pieces, they come in here and then they have a notch that sits in the back of the pressure washer and that holds it all together. I personally don't like that design, and I don't think this really truly is a wall mountable solution. I would rather have it on a shelf, sitting on a shelf with my own hose reel, which is the beauty of this because this is modular. So you can take these sections out, this entire hose reel section. So this is actually replaceable. Clean Garage has them for $100. It's the hose and the reel. But you can undo 2 screws here, take this whole hose reel out. This handle goes down here and sits right on the frame to be more of a portable solution without the hose reel. Now let's switch to this side. And you saw in the thumbnail, I said I made this better holding this right here. This is what everybody needs for the Comet 1700. Now the problem with this machine is they kind of designed it to work with the wall mount of sitting on the wall. Or you could have this on a shelf, but you have to have this overhanging the shelf a little bit because you can see where the input is, how close it is to the bottom of this. It comes with a BSPP 3/4 conversion to garden hose thread. Once this goes on, this is all the room we have to get a hose on there. So if we're just setting it on the ground or on a shelf, this needs to overhang something or sit on something to be able to get that on there. And people have looked for solutions for a while. I saw Matt from Sess Garage is selling an elbow that you basically have to take off this entire casing to be able to spin that elbow, because when you spin it, it hits the casing. You can't do it. and they said there was no other solution out there. Well, I found it. This could have been years after they did their videos, but I found it right here. This is the same thing, BSPP female swivel to BSPP female 3/4. So that allows you to take this off. And there is no garden hose elbow that I've ever seen, and I bought several to see if I thought they were working. No, they don't. It basically has to tilt like this just a little bit in order for it to work. But now we have our swivel version here, and we actually have extra room. And the best thing about this elbow is, say you're on a shelf or even a wall-mounted solution, you want it to look like a cleaner look, you turn the elbow backwards to where your water is here, and it's hidden better. Or you could have it pointed that way, or you can have it pointed this way. Really cool. So you can use this on the AR630, any of these European ones that have the BSPP. And now we can hook a garden hose up to it without there being any issue. Right out the front, like I said, out the side. I haven't tested it yet. Hopefully it's leak proof. Hopefully it doesn't leak. This fitting is $20 at Titan Fittings. That's where I got it. I've seen it at a few other places, and it's about $20. It was $20 to ship it to me, so it's 40 bucks. But for a $650 solution to be able to make it to where you can hook up a garden hose when it's sitting on the ground, I think that's more than worth the price. Here's another adapter, itty bitty little adapter. This is a 1/4" BSPP to 3/8" NPT. So that's going to allow us to take our hose end right here. We can screw this in because this is the same threading that's at the bottom of that spray gun over there. And now we can hook up a 3/8" NPT quick disconnect on the end here. And now we're going to be able to hook up any of your normal upgraded guns that have the 3/8" plug on the end. Now, if you want to use the stock gun, we have this right here that we've used on a lot of these stock guns. M22 14mm goes right in here, screws on, and now we've converted our stock gun, which you could use with your stock hose. Now, to go from the unit to the hose reel, these are actually M22s, and this is a really cool fitting right here. Really nice hose. I think I would use that for other things as well. But it's, like I said, it's just M22, just a different way to do it. And let's check the diameter on this. And this is a 15mm here. If you want to do a hose reel, and you would put your jumper hose here to go to the hose reel. I don't see this being any different, but yeah, that is a 15mm as well. Well, that's about it. So before we go any further, make sure to check the description below for links to anything in the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get to testing. Look at that, no leaks. We didn't even use Teflon tape on anything, any of these connections. Amazing. This swivel is so good, so worth the money. The end hose isn't leaking at all, and this is just hand tight. It's not even a wrench. The only thing we had to do is here, this piece right here, we had to crank that down a little bit with some pliers, but we didn't have to put any Teflon tape. So here's probably the biggest bad thing for me for this unit, other than having to buy extra fittings to get it to work with my thread patterns, is it doesn't have a GFCI. It's just a regular 15 amp plug, and it's only 15 feet long, which is rather short for a cord on an electric pressure washer. So if you're going to use an extension cord with this, make sure it is 14 gauge. And if you're going to go over 50 feet in extension cord, I would suggest going to a 12 gauge to make sure. Got to make sure you're using the right cords. All right, it's plugged in. We're going to purge all the air out of the lines, and then we're going to turn it on and see what happens. Well, here goes nothing. There we go. Runs pretty good. You heard the noise, very induction sounding, not a high-pitched whine. But like the Active 2.0 on my setup, it's got a very high-pitched whine to it that's a little more annoying than this. I like this a little bit better. And plus, that instant on, instant off. I mean, it's a slight little ramp up, but there's like a little click, a little kick out, and then it goes. The off is instant, which unlike, say, like anything that has a universal motor, usually it goes. This one is off. Actually, one other cool adapter that has helped over time is this right here. This is an M22 14mm to 1/4 inch quick disconnect. What this is going to allow me to do is use my normal pressure gauge on here. So on the wand, I'm going to adapt down from the M22. So if you really like their wand, this will allow you to use that wand or the turbo nozzle wand. It's a pretty cool little thing. Well, I messed up and I didn't record me doing the gallons per minute for the stock wand. So we had like 1.52 gallons per minute at about 1100, like 1125 PSI with the stock, but it was running over 16 amps, right at 16 amps. So a bit too much. So this is the 4.0. Or about 925, but it's like 14.8 amps. So bucket method sits on a scale, it's teared out so the bucket weight doesn't mean anything. We run it for 1 minute and then we'll calculate the pounds into gallons to get our gallons per minute. Fluctuated between about 875 and 925. So I noticed that on my testing that I forgot to record earlier with the other one, it fluctuated about 50 PSI, going from, 875 to 900, back down to 880, up to 920. Which leads me to believe that it's not as consistent. 15.56 pounds, 1.86 gallons per minute. So pretty good there. So this is the 4.5. About 780 was the most I could get, but it was as low as like 730. 780 is a bit low. So we got 16.08, 1.926, so close to 1.93 gallons per minute. The 4.0 is the way to go. You're close to right at that 900, 925 mark, pushing 1.86 gallons per minute. It's really, really good numbers. So we're gonna try out their suds dispenser here. Now there's 32 to 1 Incredible Suds in here. And we all know that Incredible Suds makes great foam. But at that dilution ratio, I don't know how well it's gonna work in this machine. I had 2 more ounces of Incredible Suds in here. That's a little bit better, but that's about what I expected. So if we shake it up and get it to pull foamy suds, it's a little bit better. We have 32 to 1 Incredible Suds. Cars with Key will save you 10% on their website. It's just a really good soap. I know I pitch it in every video, but it's an amazing soap. Let's see what this thing does. This is a 1.25 factory MJC. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. You see the difference between this piece of junk and that? That was 15.4 amps. I mean, for a small period of time on a foam can, I guess that's okay. Let's just go straight to the 1.42. So it's supposed to be a 1.5 orifice, which is meant for, gas pressure washers. But it worked really good on the AR, and it measures at about 1.42. All right, here we can see the 4.0 in action. Not as thick as the 1.25. Obviously, the dimples, they're there. They are, they're combining quicker because it is definitely less. But a 1.42 worked. 13.6 amps. It's a really nice play. If you could get a true 1.35, I think that would be like perfect equilibrium. I guess if it comes with it, we gotta test it. But I've never used a motorized brush before. I probably would not use this on a car. These bristles are not, they're not paint safe bristles for sure. But on a window, on a house, something like that might work pretty good. I can hear it grinding on the paint. How many of you are cringing right now? That's what rinseless does to your hood. That's for Eddie. Horrible. So just to make sure for a lot of you out there that would be wanting to ask this question, will it improve if we use a completely upgraded setup? It's possible just simply going from that 1/4-inch hose with a lot of those fittings and stuff out there, the sizes of the piping was pretty small. We have the unit directly M22 fitting directly into the pump, jumper hose directly to my hose reel, running my Kevlar Blue Shield 3-inch hose, my SGS 28, same 4.0 nozzle. Okay, so that is the biggest drastic difference I've ever seen using an upgraded setup. Before we were getting 925, remember me mentioning that dramatic 50 PSI move around. This went to 950 PSI, but it never went below like 920. And when it was going up and down, it was more of a better flow, a more stable flow. Here's your 4.5. Now on the 4.5, we are right at 800, but it was more stable. Like I said, the PSI wasn't bouncing all over the place. So another thing I'm noticing is the load is much less. So this 4.0, we've got more PSI, but we're running 13.25 amps. So that hose and everything on that unit is very restrictive, I assume, and what's going on and how it works with the induction motor. The unit just, it even sounds a little bit better with the upgraded setup. I've never seen this big of a difference between the original and going to upgraded. This will be a big thing if we can keep this under 15 amps with the 1.25. So that was about 15.08. So it was 15.6. So we definitely dropped it considerably. The 1.35 will be very safe, but that's definitely a better number. So for the first time ever, the upgraded setup is going to give you a little bit more, at least in my scenario here, that's what happened. So is the Comet 1700 a viable solution? Absolutely. Now we just saw that with the stock reel, stock hose, and everything that's going on there, something is making it run at a higher amp, and it's not working as good as it could with a 3-inch hose setup with a MTM SGS 28 gun or any kind of 3-inch gun, the same nozzle, and we got 25 to 30 more PSI. Actually feels like maybe can get a little bit more flow. Who knows? But I didn't test those numbers. But there you go. So don't forget to check in the description below. For $650, even at what the performance it has, it's not bad. You get that Italian made. You get it's maintainable. It's rebuildable. You can buy pump heads to replace and all that kind of stuff. So those are big pluses. But with the Active 2.3 coming out and the big boys coming out in that price range, if you're going for the upgraded setup, I don't think this is the way to go. But now we know more about this market, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. For some people and resident, now for all ones, now we have with it sitting on a shelf. And now we can hook up a garden hose. Now, oh my gosh. Now if you want to, oh my gosh. So right here is where you would, oh my gosh. So right here, oh my gosh, come off. The end hose, whatever. This extension, not very long for a cord on a pressure, but the off is dead. Wow. That went everywhere. Oh, you moron. You literally did not empty the bucket.